Hi, I'm Jodi Stanton, the P2P Coordinator at Georges Creek Elementary School. The topic for today's Spotlight series is promoting social and emotional learning through the implementation of morning meeting. Before we begin, I'd like to tell you a little bit about Georges Creek Elementary. We're located in rural Western Maryland, and we have a population of 289 students in grades pre-K through 5. Many of our students are living in homes with one caregiver. In many of these homes, the caregiver is the grandparent or a relative, because a lot of our students have parents who are dealing with addiction or are incarcerated, and sadly, some of them have parents who have passed away. All students at Georges Creek receive free and reduced free lunch for themselves every day, and also breakfast. Our free and reduced lunch population is 82.45%. Our students, like those in the state and across the country, have experienced trauma. So when we started the micro-credential work on social emotional learning, we were hooked. Social and emotional learning allows teachers to build and maintain relationships. While establishing classroom routines, teachers create a community where students feel like they can share and they develop a relationship of trust with their teacher. In these classroom communities, students are allowed to take risks. They're able to focus on their academics because their emotions have been addressed during the morning routine and morning meeting. Empathy is promoted throughout the day. Why should we teach social emotional learning? Because our students are living the only life they will ever live. Don't we owe it to them? Diane Sipple and Lohnas are going to share information about class meetings and morning routines. This was where we began as a faculty at Georges Creek. Diane?
So class meetings and morning routines. Students want a safe, predictable, and nurturing environment, one that is consistent. Students like well-managed classes because no one yells at them and learning takes place. Harry Wong, The First Days of School. This quote relates because we are going to talk about establishing a routine of a morning meeting and what the morning meeting should look like. So in the daily routine with your students, you want to have a regular schedule that you follow. They crave the consistency. You start with the greeting and the calendar, then go over your daily schedule. Then the morning meeting part is going to be coming in when we talk about doing a restorative practice type circle with the students. You might want to do a question with students. You might want to do an emotional check-in with how are you feeling. All right, so we start with how are you feeling. In my classroom, we have rules. You want to establish rules so that everyone understands what we're going to be working on. And when you set it up, you need to decide your method of sharing. You need to establish the rules that you want. Some in my room are to keep it recent, to tell the truth, do the talking piece to decide who's speaking. You make eye contact with the speaker. You only share your business. And you respect each other's sharing and understanding when someone is having a low day. That's really the main point of having this in my classroom. People get their feelings out on the table in the morning, and everybody understands what they're going through and is empathetic towards them, and it really helps set the tone for the day. You can decide who will share each day and how much time you can devote to it. Who do you need to touch base with? Who needs a little extra time to release their feelings? It's important to establish that sometimes every student wants to share, and you just can't do that. So it's important to have a routine and these rules that they understand so they know when it is appropriate for them to really get something off their chest or when they're really doing it and get through the day.
As a facilitator in your classroom, you have multiple options for how you want to check in with your students. If you're dealing with younger students, you might decide to do circle questions. If you're dealing with older students, you might decide to do emotion checks, or as most people do, a combination of both. Here on this slide, we've modeled two different emotion check options for you. The first one is anonymous. You can see her on the poster where the student's written their name on the back of a sticky note and then has pasted the sticky note on a board that describes their feelings. This can be done individually or as a whole group. Another option is doing one in the circle during the time that you're meeting. A very common method is doing 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. In order to do the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 strategy, you need to explain each number. Okay, so number 5 would be students who are feeling really good, really happy to be there. Number 1 would be students who are feeling low or are dealing with something. You have to decide how you want students to share this. A lot of time it's during that morning circle time. And then you want to discuss some ways to manage those low feelings. So whether you're doing mindfulness breathing or bringing in other students' perspectives, that way they can share their opinions and suggest strategies for bettering those feelings. One of my favorite things to do is ask a circle question. That builds connections in your classroom. It helps you get to know your students as individuals and on a more personal level. So some common circle questions are, how are you feeling today? What are your goals for today? Celebrations, asking students to share something that they're proud of or something they've recently accomplished. Concerns. This can be personal concerns or academic concerns. If a student felt like they didn't understand last night's homework, this would be a great time to bring up that concern. It would also be a good time to bring up a personal issue that may keep them from being focused or willing to learn that day. And then the last part is connection questions. What makes you laugh? What are some of your favorite things? How do you feel when this happens? Again, this helps your students get to know you and others on a more personal level.
Talk about the importance of the timing of the morning meeting. The first thing in the morning after the announcements would be ideal if your schedule allows for that. It really gives you a chance to touch base about anything that may have happened before school started that morning or the night before and get those feelings off their chest so they can have a settled day. 15 to 20 minutes should be enough time for them to share their feelings as a whole class when you're really touching base just with those who really feel the need when you're having the meeting. If you have students wait, it might cause them to be distracted instead of learning. Older students can sometimes wait if they know they have a scheduled time. They might be able to focus and hold off until that time, but they will start asking for it, and they will be able to eventually tell themselves, I know I'm going to get to share this with my class, and I know when I'm sharing it, so they can sometimes move on with their work. But if at all possible, first thing in the morning would be the best thing to do.
On this slide, we wanted to talk about the impact that these morning meetings and restorative circles have had for our students. And we thought, what better way to share the impact than for you to hear from the students themselves?
I'm a one because my mom and I really miss my mom because she's at the hospital right now with my baby sisters that were just born December 3rd.
Good. And how do you feel when your class has morning meetings and you get to share how are you feeling?
I feel like really good because I get it off my chest and it's like it feels good to do that.
Excellent.
I also like that everybody's understanding of what I'm going through right now, and I love that.
Okay, Isaiah, so can you tell me a little bit about your morning meeting?
So we come in from resource, and the teacher does stuff before she talks, and then she goes to the carpet and she tells us our schedule for in the morning, and then we do our feelings like 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and
Okay, and what does that mean? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
like 5 you're great, and 1's the worst.
Okay.
And she tells us our routine and stuff.
Do you like having your morning meeting? What do you like about it?
Just the one part I like about it is like how we do 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Get your day started. Hey, thank you, Isaiah.
What are some things you think of the how are you feeling part of your day?
people share and passing the ball.
You like that part of your day? Why?
Because then they know.
Okay, Roman, so tell me about our morning meeting.
We talked about our feelings and how we felt about it in our morning meeting, and how we expressed our feelings through numbers. Like number 1 was when you're feeling real bad, and number 5 was how you're feeling great. And we also talked about like personal stuff that's happening in our life, like if someone died or something, if we were traumatized and all that. And that's how our morning meeting was.
And do you like having the morning meeting? Do you feel like it sets your day off right?
Yes, it really makes my day good.
Good, Roman. Thank you. Okay, so you guys are in 4th grade from Ms. Alkire's class. So can you tell me a little bit about your morning meeting?
So every morning after resource, we get together and we talk about our morning and what we're going to do during the day. We go over what's the date and all that, and it just helps us have a better day and stuff because we go over what we're going to do so we know what's coming next and we can be prepared.
Okay.
I think morning meeting is the best thing ever because you get to let like whatever you want out. Like you get to talk about your feelings kind of, and it makes you feel more like you want to be at school.
That's great. Okay, guys, thank you so much.
As you can see, students enjoy morning meetings because they're able to share their feelings with their friends in a safe and caring environment before going about their day at school. Morning meetings, though, need to be designed around what's best for you and your students. So Mrs. Stanton's going to give you a few tips on successfully implementing morning meetings in your classrooms.
So whatever you do, it's up to you, but choose one. You have to be consistent. The students are going to rely on it and they're going to want it every day. So it's going to be important for you to make sure that your schedule allows it for daily. When you're not going to be in the room, substitutes need to know how to do it. So make sure you leave information for them, because if they don't have it, the kids won't have a good day and neither will the substitute. Students come to rely on it, they're going to ask for it, and they're going to need it. So just start. Thank you for caring about your students. If you have any questions, feel free to contact any one of us, and we'll be happy to reach out to you at that time.